All right, everyone. The president has signaled to the press he is willing to testify under oath and contradict what Comey said. Now, this is not the sort of thing I would expect him to do if he actually had been colluding with the Russians and trying to get Comey in a more dubious manner to back off the Michael Flynn stuff and or other, corrupt potentially things that he supposedly did. If he actually did those in any significant degree, I don't think he'd be willing to testify under oath. He'd want the issue to go away. Well, the Comey stuff is basically wrapping up. He's given his testimony. The Michael Flynn stuff is old news. The Russian investigation has apparently continued to go nowhere because there is no collusion. Comey got raked over the coals by several people, and then a whole nother scandal with Loretta Lynch gets injected into the equation. Trump's riding high right now as far as this testimony goes. So he would want to end it on that note, just remain silent on the issue and not even talk about it other than to say, oh, yeah, I did nothing wrong. I maintain that. I'm going to go, the press, shut up. I'm going to go work on a tax plan. I've got diplomacy to conduct. We've got a border wall to argue over. I've got bigger things to do right now. I'm not concerned about this. You do whatever feels best to you. You go ahead and investigate all you want because I did nothing wrong. And he would end it at that and never talk about it again, if he had something to lose by going before Congress and testifying. Instead, though, he probably has everything to gain, because if it is true that Trump did not do anything particularly dubious, if he's right, when he claims that Comey's lying about Flynn, that he never asked him to back off, that he never asked for Comey's loyalty, and he says that under oath and says, no, I never said that. The conversation was never had. I keep tapes of all my conversations. You go ahead and look through these tapes right here. By the way, I'm sure some of you have done some shady shit on them. And then you can shut the fuck up. It would be a great benefit to Trump. It takes perhaps the greatest issue weighing him down. The true albatross on Trump's back is that a lot of independent voters still have it in their mind that he colluded with the Russians and that he's corrupt. I personally choose to believe he did not collude with the Russians. I have seen not one shred of evidence of this. Any evidence they have, they're saying, oh, it's top secret, it's classified, you can't see it. If it's not being shown to the public, it's not evidence. You can take it as evidence, nobody else should, until that burden of proof is reached. We have, I think, a right as the American people to see it, even if it is classified. If it is of that importance, we have the right to see it. Declassify it and release it to the public if you have any balls. But they don't have shit, or else they would do that, because they want to take Trump down. This includes the Democrats, certainly plenty of bureaucrats he still hasn't replaced that are essentially loyalists to Obama. He still hasn't even replaced all these people. They're all gunning for him, including all the never-Trump Republicans. And yet they haven't released anything. We get a leaked memo from Comey, which is just his own opinion, his own fucking handwriting getting notarized. That means nothing. We get Comey's claims. We get claims from some Democrats in Congress and from John McCain. That's what we have for evidence. None of these things rise anywhere near to the threshold of what we need to actually get upset at Trump and say, oh, I'm a Russian agent, something like that. And if he's willing to testify, that's not the sort of thing that a person under these circumstances who is guilty of wrongdoing would be willing to do. They would want the issue to go away as quickly as possible. They sure as hell wouldn't feed, top trending on Twitter by coming out in the next press conference and say, oh, I'm willing to testify under oath because he's lying. Why on earth would somebody who has anything to lose in that situation do so? They wouldn't. Nobody would advise them to, and they'd have to be batshit insane to do so. And Trump's not batshit. He's not. When he acts like he's batshit, he's doing it for a reason. You can see that time and time again. He did this over and over during the election. A lot of people still don't believe it when you say Trump does this in a calculated manner. They say, no, he's just actually crazy. Okay, you keep believing that and see who's more accurate in their political predictions over the next few years. You go ahead and keep believing that. If you do believe that, you probably think he's getting impeached. I'll take that bet any day. And when you go onto those betting markets, oh, will Trump be impeached? Yeah, if I were a betting man, if I believed in gambling, which I don't, yeah, I'd be putting everything on, no, Trump's not going to get impeached. He'll probably get reelected at this point. The Democrats, all they can do is complain about Russia. Still don't have a platform. Weeks and weeks continue to drag by. The same problem reignites over and over and over again within the DNC. They don't play well with others. They just complain. Their party platform is, we're not the party of Trump. It's not going to work. It doesn't matter if Trump is middling in his popularity. They still keep coming out and cherry-picking the polls. They did the same thing a few days ago that they did all through the election, which really left them shamefaced when they were totally wrong. Rasmussen and YouGov, the two polling firms that were accurate during the election because they didn't dick around with their samples, are showing Trump around a 45% approval rating. Which is to say it's mediocre, it's half-assed, but it's nowhere near the danger zone. And it's about as good as can be expected considering he gets raked over the coals by the right and the left on a daily basis. Despite that degree of massive propaganda, he's still holding somewhere in the low to mid-40s. That's not bad, and it's not 32% or whatever the Quinnipiac poll that they cherry-picked and put on BI and Salon and Being Liberal and all these other retard groups said. That's an outlier anyway. That's an outlier even of the polls showing him in the 30s. Most of them show him in the mid to upper 30s, not fucking 32%. It's funny to see them fail because they do the same stupid shit over and over again. Really, really funny to me. Trump's going to go and he probably will testify. Now, we'll wait to see. If he doesn't, it's going to look a little conspicuous at this point. I think he knows that. He probably should testify. He probably should, especially if he has these tapes that he keeps alluding to. If all these conversations with Comey were taped, and it turns out Comey's full of shit, and of course he alludes to this after these conversations apparently took place, fairly early in his presidency. A month later he says, oh yeah, I've been taping everything this whole time. Comey must have been sweating bullets at the time. Why do you think that maybe he took on a little bit more of a conciliatory tone with Trump and said, oh no, he never pressured me to end the Russia investigation. He did some dubious things. I felt uncomfortable. But I also felt uncomfortable with Loretta Lynch. Here's a distraction. Quick, Congress, look at this one. Possibly. I think that might play into it. Maybe Comey's worried that Trump actually did tape their conversations. And he knows he's 1 inch away from the bed of hot coals right now. And he wants to ingratiate himself just enough to stay above the fray. I think that's a possibility. Also, I'm all gunked up today because of the high allergen count. It's like blazingly sunny and hot out. The trees are screwing each other yet again. I'm all gunked up. So this is the last video until maybe in the evening. Make a third video. That's about all. Peace out.